Hey guys, we're here talking about Botox, and it has really interesting cosmetic and some medicinal properties as well. So I hope you like the topic and leave comments for things that you might find interesting from our conversation today.
I'm Nana.
And I'm Robert.
Hope you enjoy the show. So we're talking about botulinum toxin.
That sounds scary.
AKA Botox. So when I first heard about Botox was way before I started med school. So I'm not under the impression that it's something that may cause like paralysis, throughout the body. And so it's really funny because this was our first unit in med school, and we learned about this bug called botulinum toxin. It's a bug, right?
Botulinum, and the toxin, it comes from the botulinum toxin.
Right. So it was botulinum. What?
You have to Google it. I don't know. Botulinum A.
No, it's C. botulinism.
C.
It's Clostridium. Botulinum.
Yes. Okay. And that is the bacteria.
That is so, yes.
Okay.
So today we'll be talking about botulinum toxin, aka Botox.
That sounds scary.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So before I actually started med school, I learned about Botox, but only when it applied to like cosmetics. And that's it. Yeah. It wasn't until our first unit of med school that I learned about this bug called Clostridium botulinum and the toxin that it releases and how that can cause paralysis throughout the body.
Works on that presynaptic cleft.
Yeah, yes. And so basically, I grew up eating food out of cans, like uncooked. Yeah, I mean, I know that sounds crazy.
Okay.
Right? But hey, I'm fine.
We're thankful for that.
But it wasn't like a thing in my house.
Is that like a cultural thing?
Could be.
Okay.
I don't know. All right. I know you grew up differently.
I did. We cooked our stuff from the can. Always.
So I was like kind of shook. I mean, my favorite thing to eat actually out of the can was like the can of beans, the baked beans. Yeah. And I preferred it straight out of the can outside of instead of warming it up and eating it. It just had a different texture and taste. Just everything. Yeah. And so I was pretty bummed to find out that, like, hey, you could actually get this toxin that could cause, like, major paralysis.
Right. But it's not all bad, right?
Descending paralysis. But it's not all bad, right? You can use it for different reasons. I think the most famous reason is for people to remove wrinkles in their face. To prevent wrinkles.
Prevent, not to remove. Okay, so that's something I didn't know coming to medical school, right? So the idea is you just want to look better. You see celebrities use too much Botox and now their face is all puffy.
And stiff,
right? So that was my only exposure to Botox. Right. But it actually is to help prevent and to kind of like strengthen your face a little bit. Right. As well as a treatment for severe headaches like migraines.
Right. And TMJ.
Yes. Migraines.
As well as TMJ.
Right. And so those things can help relieve pain or to help fix deviations in your facial structure. I didn't know that. I didn't know it had medicinal as well as cosmetic properties to it. Right. I thought it was, again, what I only saw in movies. Right. I didn't know that this could be a preventative care treatment, which I am now thinking that more people need to look into.
Right. I feel like it almost has this stigma to it. Yeah. That like, oh, you're getting Botox. Yeah. It's a very vain procedure to go under.
Yeah.
And like you're saying, like, no, it's not only for cosmetic reasons. Yeah. And I feel like also there's like this misconception as to what Botox actually is. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times people confuse it with fillers. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying, like to get rid of wrinkles or deep lines or anything like that. And that's what fillers do. Like that's the job of a filler. Right. Botox is more preventative. Right. So actually what Botox does is it paralyzes the muscles that comes in contact with. And so by doing that, you're not able to move that part of, let's say you put it on your forehead, you're not able to move your forehead. So that prevents wrinkles from actually forming, or new wrinkles if you already have wrinkles there. So that prevents wrinkles from forming.
Right, okay. Right. So you have certain muscles that are pulling down and some that are pulling, and you have this antagonistic relationship in your facial muscles. Right. And when you paralyze certain muscles, it allows the other ones to be the main force, and that helps not only exercise by allowing them to pull without resistance, but it also allows for the wrinkles to go away because you don't have that squishing or that antagonistic relationship
or to not form.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so you can prevent them because you're kind of like exercising your face right. in a way where you're right. not necessarily going to put dumbbells on your eyebrows.
Right.
But you can use a more of a long-term approach. Now, with Botox, does Botox last forever?
It does not.
Right.
So generally you would have to go back into your physician or your nurse, whoever is actually doing the procedure, to get them done about every 3 months.
Right, right. And that's just because the muscles that you paralyze is temporary. Right. It just lasts for, a few weeks, and then they slowly regain their strength. So it's not a permanent treatment. So if you try it once and you don't like it or it didn't help, right. you're going to be fine.
Right, right. Or if you don't like the feeling of it, because mind you, parts of your face will be paralyzed, and you definitely can feel a difference. I've actually had it done myself. And so when I first got it, I felt that it was a very different sensation.
Okay. Now, was your face kind of like droopy on one side? Like, what does it mean?
Oh, God forbid.
Like, you said like some of your face is paralyzed. Like, what is that?
So I got it done on my forehead and around my mouth. And it was very interesting because when I got it done around my mouth, I wasn't able to frown. I mean, mind you, that was the goal, because I wanted to eventually like lift up my natural resting like mouth, if that makes sense. So it's like a natural smile. But yeah, so I wasn't able to frown. Like I literally was not able to do it. Mm-hmm. When I got it done on my forehead, I wasn't able to lift up my eyebrows. They were just frozen, just paralyzed. And so that was like an adjustment, so I definitely wasn't able to make certain facial features or anything like that. I had that classic, like, neutral look, it's very expressionless.
How long did that last?
That lasted about 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that could be okay for some people, but right. Extreme deterrent for others.
Right.
I don't know how I would feel with having like that face for 3 months.
Right. Huh. It's very different.
It is.
So, important questions to ask your provider when actually seeking Botox. First and foremost, make sure that they are board certified.
Right. So, just make sure that you're board certified, because you can practice any type of medicine that you want to if you graduate from a medical university or college, and that's legal. You can do that as soon as you graduate. But if you want someone who is trained and skilled in a specialty, they need to have gone through the residency and the rigors of training at a specialized program. And that's not necessarily something that everyone who practices these procedures do.
Right. So that's very important.
Yeah.
So some medications definitely to avoid: aspirin and ibuprofen. So basically any type of anticoagulant just say no.
Yeah. Yeah, we take NSAIDs all the time.
All the time.
And that might be just something common that you feel like you can do.
So what are NSAIDs?
Okay, so NSAIDs are non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Okay. And basically what they do...
Sounds like your ibuprofen, right?
Yes, your ibuprofen. And sometimes they can be used to reduce the amount of inflammation or the activity of certain type of inflammatory cells. And they basically stop this type of pathway process from proceeding so that certain chemical pathways are not induced. And if you have a lot of NSAIDs, you can decrease the amount of thickening of your blood, the pain that you feel even kind of messes up with your GI system. There are a lot of different reasons for people to have NSAIDs. And people do it commonly. Like I take ibuprofen very common because of my ankle injury. And you know, you may not think that doing that could affect something cosmetic or elective.
Right. So make sure you ask which medications to avoid, and foods or anything like that. Another thing is Botox generally, since it is a preventative procedure, it generally benefits people in like their 20s and 30s. So definitely before your wrinkles have formed, because once they're there, they're there. And that's not what Botox is for. Botox does not eliminate wrinkles. Botox prevents them.
Okay.
So it's very important that if that's something that you want to do, generally you should, it's recommended that you do start in like your 20s or 30s.
Okay.
Not saying that you shouldn't start later or you can't start later. I mean, everyone's anatomy and, DNA is different. Right. Not anatomy, but DNA.
I mean, sometimes anatomy is a little different.
Some anatomy is different. Yeah. But.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You want to wrap up?
Yeah. I guess also one more thing.
Okay.
Don't expect results very quickly. So this isn't a surgical procedure. This is something that takes time to see. And it's preventative, mind you. So I would just say be patient and really understand that, every step of the way that, hey, you've been doing Botox for 10 years, that like your wrinkles could be a lot deeper or a lot worse. Right. I see within that given time.
Kind of like statins and cardiovascular health.
Right.
You're going to see benefits from taking statins like 10 years down the line, not a couple weeks after you start taking them.
Right.
I mean, you could, but generally the biggest gains are far ahead.
Right. Depending on what you're taking them for.
That's true. That's true.
Don't abuse statins. So I think that was good. Okay. So, did we talk about risks? Make sure to ask your provider if there are any risks or dangers involved with getting Botox. So any adverse effects, any side effects, any, swelling out of the normal, any allergic reactions, and basically what you should do if any of those actually occur, and what your next step would be if, unfortunately, if something like that were to happen.
Yeah. Botox is a really interesting therapy that I think we should investigate and look into a little bit more. But if we're not honest with our professional, then we might miss some things if we are, keeping things back. So be keeping your professional upfront with your medical history, providing as much detail as possible. But considering this therapy as an option is something I think people should look at.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was our episode on Botox. We really hope you enjoyed it. Please like, follow, and subscribe. Please share with your friends and comment if you have any questions or any nice and positive suggestions.
Yeah, we like to read them and they inform us as well.
Yeah, so have a good day.